Hello and welcome to today's video where I'll be discussing two Dior products, specifically the embroidered Birkenstocks and the Dior Jordans. In today's atmosphere, these massive French labels are seen more and more as status symbols, and their brilliant histories of craftsmanship are seen as left behind. I'm really hoping to look at these two products that I own today and put them sort of in context of that dialogue, as I feel that they disprove that. It's not to say that everything that these brands make is high quality, well thought out, but I do think that there are certainly some gems that brands put out every year. In particular with Dior footwear, it's all designed by Thibaut, who I've mentioned before on my YouTube. He designs them with the rest of the footwear team at Dior, and of course Kim Jones gives his creative input as well. Beginning with the Dior Birkenstock, they made the Tokyo Mule model. It's an edition of only 400 in the world, and the way that you could get your hands on that was through special orders. I placed my order roughly in March, like a year ago now, a little over that, and I got it in December. It got delayed due to production issues. They're made in Germany, the actual mule is. The mule is made out of a wool felt upper with the rubber toe cap on it. And then the embroidery was done at Vermont Atelier in Paris, which is the atelier that the team at Dior uses for everything couture, and it is incredibly popular in the world of high fashion. It's used by Margiela, Louis Vuitton. Point being, it is the place to go for couture. I actually had the privilege to visit Vermont Atelier with Dior, and I got to see a sort of look through their archives as well as the behind the scenes of how everything is made there. And it actually is not a massive facility. There's about like a dozen people working at a time on hand weaving and sewing different dresses, patterns, etc. And that really made this piece of footwear full circle for me, as I felt an extreme connection to it when I saw it and realized where the embroidery was done. Beyond that, I think talking about the history of it is incredible, as this show was really meant to showcase Mr. Dior's love of gardens and gardening, and the embroidery done on the Birkenstock actually comes directly from a dress from 1953 from Dior's archives. It really sort of makes a full circle idea of the Birkenstock being a gardening shoe, as you know, the rubber toe on the Birkenstock is made to sort of like fend off dirt or the morning dew. There's an Elix buckle on the clasp, obviously, to fasten your foot into it, and the back strap. It also features a T-bone on the inside of the sole so your foot stays locked into place. The bottom features the Dior oblique going into the bones pattern found on all Birkenstocks. So personally, I don't think I'll ever wear these Birkenstocks. I really view them as a couture piece. Obviously, there's extremely limited quantities, but more than anything, for the shoes to be processed in the same facility that their couture dresses are made in, and for it to feature the same craftsmanship on that, I think that you're really paying for a fraction of what a couture dress would cost, which is, you know, up to $100,000, $200,000. That isn't to say that you should just go out and buy a pair of essentially slippers for that much money. I think you have to really contextualize it and think about what it means to own that, and that's personally why I won't wear them. I see it as something that will hopefully appreciate with time, given the story to it. It's one of those few pieces that comes out of each men's collection at Dior that I feel like really speaks to the brand's lineage and ideology, but also sort of is making improvements. The other product I want to talk about is the Dior Jordan. I pre-ordered that in December when the show happened. I got really lucky to be able to do that. So this Jordan, I think, is extremely special. It's a great balance between Kim Jones's personality and the design language of Dior. Thinking back to the past when Kim Jones was at Louis Vuitton, He was extremely outspoken about his love for the Jordan 1. There is a video on Hypebeast, I believe, where he actually talks about all of the pairs of fragments that he has gone through in his life. I believe he always has like 3 or 4 unworn pairs. And so if you look at the Dior Jordan, it might look like a Jordan from far away, but they've really deconstructed it and rebuilt it from the ground up. It features an all-leather upper that is made entirely in Italy. It's the first Jordan to do that since the Jordan 2, and it is Dior gray. It features an enlarged swoosh to make sure and include the oblique pattern throughout the entire sneaker, as well as an oblique tongue that is almost invisible to the eye unless it's trained to see it. It has icy soles on the bottom of it, featuring Air Dior Jordan branding, and if you actually take the insole out of the sneaker and you look inside, the Dior oblique is actually embossed into the leather, which is just a detail that you would never know unless you own the shoe, and I don't think enough people talk about that detail. It's one of my favorites. My pair is 4,262 out of 8,500. I actually have worn them twice before. One of them to a fashion show with Dior. As someone who has owned a few pairs of Jordan 1s before, I've actually sold them mainly because of the discomfort that I have when wearing them. I have wider feet. They get pressure points on the outsides of my feet, and these Jordans are the only Jordans I've ever had that don't cause that, and I'm guessing it's from the sort of reconstruction they did of the upper and trying to make it look like an 85. In the context of luxury, I really see these two products as sort of unicorns in the sector of quality. While they absolutely are status defining just simply based off of their resale prices or even their retail prices, I see them sort of as investments and pieces of fashion history that I don't think I'll ever get rid of. As someone who has sort of been a sneakerhead for a very long time, definitely not as much now as I used to be, they're two shining examples of the top quality I've ever come across. This video is a little different than what I'd normally be talking about, but I felt like it was really important to share my perspective on two pieces that are seriously exclusive and controversial. I think that collaborations in the world of luxury fashion often yield just status symbols, plain and simple. I don't think they do much to add to the canon of craftsmanship, but these two items I really feel like disprove that sort of notion and show that there is hope still in the world of luxury fashion. I just really want to reiterate that I'm so lucky to own them in the first place. If you liked this video, please make sure and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.